Hey there. Happy May Day. Hope you are all enjoying your Thursday. I'm downtown. As I mentioned, I might be. My live status indicator is off, so let me go ahead and turn that on. Beautiful. So, we're at the little plaza. We're gonna walk towards City Hall. Maybe walk down towards this Staples Center, LA Live area, and see if we can find folks protesting. There's a lot to protest. I support them. So, Fig at 7th, fun little shopping area. We've been here a million times, a gazillion times. I tried to set up on the steps over there. Hey, Kasepi, good morning, or good day. It's actually afternoon. And they like kicked me off the steps. They told me, sir, 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 you can't sit there on the stairs. But I ignored them for a while. I knew they were saying it. I wanted him to come up to me. By the time he came up to me, I was finished, and I said, "Oh, wasn't aware. I was just sitting in front of this wet floor sign. The floor wasn't wet, and I was finished." Non-confrontational. Plus, he's just doing his job. It looked like that guy was trying to light his cigarette in the car engine. I don't know if I've ever seen that done. So, good evening, then. How was your live stream this morning? I'm gonna go back and watch some of it. I basically this morning was trying to create a couple of healthy things to eat to make up for the Pioneer chicken. Tomorrow, perfect. Do you have I always call them a reminder up because I will make sure that I'm tuning into some part of it. So fun, May Day, yet another pagan holiday that we still somehow celebrate-ish one way or another. I never celebrated May Day growing up. I am going to set a timer right now. Actually, 11 hours will be 12:29. I'll be asleep. God willing. Uh, I understand. Part of the fun of doing this is the spontaneity of it. That's why I just have a general schedule. And I get really kind of, I don't know, cranky if I put up a schedule and it is like an hour and a half before and I feel like I'm running behind. um, or I dilly-dallied, and then I'm sort of behind just by the nature of watching or listening to an extra song or three, or watching a song. I'll figure it out, or I'll watch the replay. So I figured we'd walk down to the spooky skyscraper slash LA Live, and then scoop back over to City Hall. Um, I don't think I'll still be on, but there is another protest in MacArthur Park. Hey, Alias, it is a beautiful day. Well, this poor original pantry just closed after, I don't know, 100 years being open. I'm really bummed out that I never ate here, actually. They're probably going to tear the building down, but it would be really cool if some hipsters, please, bought it with their inheritance and turned it into a cool place where you could take Instagram pictures. The food could just totally suck, but if it was Instagram ready, that's really what counts. So I'm going to go up to Yamashira, and I'm probably going to say it wrong. Not wrong, but call it the wrong name. On top of the other hill, we're slowly working our way through the Hollywood Hills next week, and next week I'm going to do this for the members. So I've always wanted to eat there, like forever, because of the location mostly, and I like Japanese food. But I read a review of it, and it's definitely like a tourist place. Like the view, exquisite. The service, good. The food is mediocre. So I'm probably not going to eat there. But I will walk up there or drive up there. I dropped my phone, the phone that I'm using for live streaming yesterday. And the back of it looks just jacked up. I have some plastic tape holding the glass. I'm always afraid it's going to get into my drink, and then I'm going to bleed out internally and unalive myself courtesy of iPhone. It's only the back that's kind of smashed, though. All right. Hey, BD. Happy 1 month anniversary. Cecilia yesterday celebrated her 1 month anniversary. I don't know if I have any fireworks anymore because I might have erased them. I do have bunny ears, a rocket. I think those are all things those are the hot ones. Spring. Oh. Sorry. I have no fun emoji. I somehow erased the fireworks. But thank you, Joe. I know when I did it and how I did it and why I did it, but I don't know how to get it back at this moment. Well, we're gonna surf on. We've been down here before. This is where the Grammys, all the buses were lined up down here as the bus drivers were on strike. I have to say it took, or some of the bus drivers were on strike. I have to say it took, beautiful. I have to say it took the train a lot longer to get here than it usually does. So we're gonna cross at the graffitied skyscrapers, because why not? Walk over to Main, mosey on down past our favorite spots. So Joe and I are talking about going away for the weekend, still live streaming tomorrow, but we probably fly out of town, not fly, but go out of town Friday after he got finished with work. We're not live streaming on Saturdays, but we could probably do a cool one on Sunday if we go out of town. I feel like we say this all the time and never provide. I accidentally, hey Jesus, I accidentally ran into them one day when we were down here looking at the Staples, sorry, the crypto.com arena. Why does that sound so nasty? It doesn't sound nasty, but like Staples sounds branded, and maybe I just got used to it. But crypto.com, nah, I don't love it. So May Day, pagan festival, rites of spring, that kind of thing, became a workers' day, world workers' day. Gave us such great things as an 8-hour work day. I just say Staples Center. In Boston, I grew up, and the stadium was called the Sullivan Stadium, named after a politician or an Irishman, right? Boston. Probably a Bobby, police officer. And then it was all of a sudden called Fleet Center, which is a bank, but I associate Fleet with enemas. But I never stopped calling it Sullivan. I probably will never stop calling it Staples Center. So let's just pan up at these. These are behemoth. Like, I don't know what it would cost to like finish these, but we need housing. And there are 3 buildings here. I don't know if people have moved out of town, but I have been running into more handwritten for rent signs. I saw in Hollywood the other day. I want to call about it. I'm really tempted to move. It's kind of the same neighborhood that I live in, so I wouldn't have to like learn a whole new thing. Hey, huh. It's a 1 bedroom in the Tinkle Tower. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to live in these, even if they were completely finished, because earthquakes. But honestly, like, I love the graffiti. Like, they could keep the graffiti if I was gonna move there, as long as it doesn't say anything nasty or hateful. So today I'm making up for my Pioneer chicken. I can't believe that chicken was really good. I don't know why they don't exist anymore. Well, because Popeyes bought them and made them change their name. But there's only 2 places to get that chicken. I made a really healthy kind of bowl salad for today to make up for that. Some chickpeas, some corn, cucumber, lemon juice, olive oil, something else, onion. My breath is probably on fire. Be glad you're not here. Also, when I pulled the microphone out, like literally chicken breading crumbs fell out. We are on Maine, or we're heading towards Maine, sorry. Never get in the way of a G-Wagon. That car gets 11 miles to the gallon. Also, it was super bonus that we got to drive over the 6th Street Bridge. That bridge is ridiculous. The amount of money it cost, the fact that it's such a show piece, but it goes really, I shouldn't say it goes to nowhere because Boyle Heights is certainly somewhere, and the other end sort of warehouse district is somewhere also, but it's really like a not traveled area. We were in the car yesterday. It took 43 minutes to go 6 miles to the chicken place, Pioneer Chicken. I almost said El Pollo Loco. I had to stop myself. It took like 43 minutes to get there, to go 6 miles, except for that bridge, which was right before the restaurant, conveniently enough. That bridge had no traffic. Both directions, we were cruising at the speed of traffic, maybe even a little faster. I think my car said it was 25 miles and I was doing 38, not usually a speeder. Hey Mark, happy Thursday. If I say the wrong day, forgive me. I usually don't work the live stream Thursday. I was really bummed out that we couldn't stick the camera out of the sunroof without fear of it blowing off or blowing away completely. I had, Jesus, I had a Jeep Wrangler for a couple years. It seemed like a real sweet, like, California car. I was gonna be able to take the roof off, and I don't know what I thought I was gonna do. It was the scariest car I've ever driven because it was so high. It used to do this really kooky thing. We're on Olive Street. We literally drove this yesterday. A lot slower than I'm walking, though. We're gonna go left here. So, after we cross the street, we don't really go down Olive too often. So, the Jeep, every time you took a corner, you felt like it was gonna tip over. It also did this really weird thing. I remember it always happening on like the 134 in Pasadena, driving over Eagle Rock. There's this sort of seam where the freeway meets the like overpass, and if you hit that the wrong way, the car would like do this crazy thing where it would be almost like a perpetual motion machine, one of those things where you pull the ball, it hits the balls, they go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Almost like that, except it was a Jeep, and you never knew what was causing it. I brought it to the mechanic a couple times, and like, I don't know what you're talking about. I felt like a crazy person, which, may or may not be the case, but yeah, it did this wobble thing, but like no mechanic could figure out what it was. I sold that car on the street, and the people who bought it from me literally like screwed me over. It was like, this is an oil leak. I was like, no, it's not. I was like, you could tell me whatever you want. I'm firm on the price. So they bought it. I let them take it down $50. And then they parked it on West Hollywood. It got like 10 tickets before they transferred it into their name. Fun stuff. Hey, Big Will. I really want to go to the art walk. I kind of forgot about it until today. I had it on my calendar. So it's entirely possible that we're gonna just take a little walk back down here. I've been dying to check out one of those since I saw Solo Casting went to one a couple weeks ago, and they seem pretty cool. How many vehicles have I had in my lifetime, BD? Maybe 10. So I had a Volkswagen Rabbit, which I never really drove, but I bought it. Before I drove it and they delivered it, the head gasket cracked, so I got my money back. I test drove it. After that, I had a. These are all beater cars too, old cars. Toyota Corolla Tercel. It was both a Corolla and a Tercel. After that, I had an old Hyundai, then an old Nissan, or whatever they were called, whatever they're called, a Datsun, actually. So it was an old car. Then I had a Volkswagen Jetta. That was the worst car I ever had, but my fault. I hope you're counting, because I'm not. Then I had a 1971 Mercedes I got for $700 or $900 on Fountain Avenue, back when people just used to park their cars and sell them there. Then I had an 86 BMW, a 90, whatever the last year they made a Saab was. I had a Saab Aero, and a BMW recently, like electric thing. And then I have a truck thing now. I think that's more than 10. Sometimes I would get like that. I had two other Mercedes I forgot to mention, so that's more than 10 cars. I would get these cars for like $900 when I first moved here, and I would drive them for a year till they exploded or imploded or they were too expensive to fix. And then I would trade them into cars for kids, so I would get a tax write-off. As crappy as that sounds, hey, welcome, welcome, Shavkat. As crazy as that sounds, like, it was cheaper than a car payment. Buy some vintage car on the side of the road that might have some problems, drive it for maybe a year, maybe put $300 worth of work into it, and $1,200, I had a car for over a year. It sounds really crazy when I say it out loud, but it really felt like a strategy. And now I almost literally never drive my car. I love all of my lives and all of my cars that I've had. I'm glad I got to experience them. I first fell in love with like a Mercedes when I was probably 19. My grandmother had like stupid cars for New Hampshire, but my grandmother had like a kind of sporty 280 SEL or something with like wood dashboard. And then when I was like 19, me and my friend D were looking for a used car to split. I don't know what we were smoking. Who splits a car? And we looked at these Mercedes from like the 60s that probably were rusted out because we were in New Hampshire. If I had my ultimate car, I don't know what model it is, but there's this one Jaguar. It's from like 1969, I think, XJ something. And the dashboard is all like switches and knobs. It looks like a cockpit of a plane. The Saab was the best car I ever owned. Did I mention the Saab? Yeah, I did. So I would love to maybe have a Saab 900 from the 80s. How about you? Uh, New Hampshire is like the yin and yang of Vermont. So everything you know about Vermont being liberal and cool and hippie and Bernie Sanders, New Hampshire is almost the opposite. Except maybe like I think it's a little more liberal than I'm making it sound, but it's not as liberal as Vermont. It has no tax. Oh, do you know what a grenadier is? It's like a retro Land Rover. I would love one of those. I I keep missing the stars. Also, Michelle Pfeiffer last week, she got her hands in the cement. I didn't hear about that till afterwards. Oh, sorry. I gotta say, Michelle Pfeiffer looks great.
soprattutto durante gli orari di punta, cioè nei momenti in cui devi stare dentro da mezz'ora in più, la follia. La follia.
I have really lovely memories of Vermont.
Una città, cioè, secondo me la nostra
I mean, despite Addison Rae being all anybody has ever talked about um, from Coachella, she seemed to be like the guest of everybody over the course of 2 weeks. I thought Green Day were great. I also kind of love that they're like the senior sort of the elder rock stars. And I didn't think that Charlie XCX wearing that banner, I thought that was a joke and kind of funny. That's why I heard a ton of helicopters this morning because we don't live too far from that area. Um, Ton of helicopters this morning, and that's what they were probably all for that. And by a ton, I mean just one really loud one. Sounds like a ton. Hey, all right. They are pretty amazing. I'll probably catch clips of it later and suffer from a little FOMO. I would have actually liked to see that. I'm not really fond of standing still, though. Like when we went to the only star setting, that's what I'm calling it, star setting that I've ever been to, I was sweating standing still, and I felt like Mindy was taking her time. Recycle. Bring in your Apple products today. Hopefully, they'll get the precious metals and minerals out of them. I might have gone if I'd known about it because it's so kind of close walking distance to where I am. I really wanted to go on at like 12:30, but I had to make sure that I had some kind of healthy lunch, or I would come down here and scarf down a dozen donuts and not tell Joe. I would tell you guys, I'm bringing this one home for him, but then just eat it. I know. Maybe if I walk in the Apple store with this phone and they see it, they'll make me a deal. I forgot how much I love Whitley Heights. Like, I would even almost risk no parking spot to live there, or a grocery haul. But the only other thing I think about is it's so tight up there that, you know, tight and dry. That sounds horrible, but like, you know, FIRES. But we can't live our life in fear like that. Did you? I posted a video this morning of them building that area, but the Hollywoodland area from like the 1920s. YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Who are you?
SJC on YouTube.
SJC. I'm walking in LA on YouTube.
Oh, I think we talked before.
We have. Up there, we talked. I think we talked gimbals.
What's going on down there?
Nothing. I'm just coming from down there, heading towards this, seeing if I can catch some of the protesters.
That's why I'm coming this way because I didn't see anything.
4:30, I think at what is this? MacArthur Park. There's a march.
MacArthur?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's posters up of it.
All right, I appreciate you.
I will check you out. I forgot to last
sure.
time, but hey,
Yeah.
nice to see you.
Nice to see you, man.
Take care. We've talked to him before. I'm gonna have to rewind. I have a bad memory for names. What I do is probably a trick that you know. When I meet somebody, I usually will say their name to them as many times as possible. And the only hope is that I will kind of burn it into my brain. And it usually works. Epic Views, just a great, like, a lot of overgrown stuff. And I love overgrown, as dangerous as that can be. But like, I don't know, the way I imagine the 20s. I wish most of the staircases in the Whitley Heights area are locked up. There is like one staircase, but for some reason I didn't see it. And maybe it's like chained up. There is a whole beginning of that video that I didn't put up where I actually go in the wrong direction and it's a dead-end street. But the dead-end street's pretty cute too. Maybe I'll put that up as a members only video. But yeah, I love that neighborhood. No, he asked me who I was. Not that famous. I know you, Joe. All right, we'll go this way. The jewelry section's a little more interesting to walk through. I feel like I've mentioned this before, and I feel like I mentioned it in regard to something BD asked, but Joe, we watched a video where some guy climbed on this dome. The old Warner Brothers theater. And it's beautiful, but this is from what, the 30s? And Warner Brothers walked out of this building in like the 50s probably. And so to me, like the possibility of like a tile slipping and the guy sailing over the edge. I don't know why people do that. I really can't watch those videos. It's beautiful. I didn't realize I could get that close to it. go. I was having a problem zooming back out. Oh, it's just really like risky looking architecture compared to what we have today.
Chile, Chile.
I don't know what the temperature is, but I have to tell you it is the perfect temperature. Let's see. I, of course, did not start my watch today. I could probably start it now. Weather ticker. Let's see. "65 degrees. It is perfect. I don't feel the need to remove my sweatshirt, which is always great. Let me take a second right now to thank all of our awesome members. Thank you guys for being members and helping support this channel. We try to keep you entertained with sketchy videos every Tuesday. Exactly, Gridley. It is just right. Ooh, that guy has some really awesome looking dates. So 34 awesome members. Thanks so much. Now the sun is maybe starting to make me a little warm. Hey, Shauna, happy Thursday. We are celebrating May Day by walking around downtown, checking to see if we bump into any protests. We are having a few. That's the busiest it's been down here for a while. Pershing Square usually has a lot of protest action, but I don't think so today. And so I ran into the other streamer, and he said he was coming from City Hall. So we're gonna zigzag our way to City Hall. And why? Because there's some blocks that are yucky, and by yucky I just mean boring. And some blocks that are fun, like this one, fun. I don't know what it is, but I've never been a huge fan of those cheese things. I prefer the East Coast cheese doodles, which they do not have out here, the Wise brand cheese doodles. The closest thing are like, I think there's, I forget what it is. We get them every once in a while. It's just the salt is really terribly high in them, so powdery snacks I try to avoid. Back over onto Broadway. A little quieter. We're gonna walk by. Try not to buy a donut. There's Donut Friend.
Like a year ago.
Huh. I put feta cheese in the salad that I made today. That didn't mean I didn't want to stop at Donut Friend right there. I think we might have to come and try that on a Wednesday. I love what feta cheese does for like a salad. It just kind of gives it a body. I wanted to add an avocado to my salad, but I couldn't find one that was ripe. The nice thing about the salad that I made actually is you can put it in a wrap. By the way, Joe, there's like a whole extra thing of feta in the fridge. I only added one, or like 5 ounces. I wish they would. I know we have bigger problems as a city, but I really wish they would just invest in relighting them all up. Again, diamond shoe problem, probably. We have a lot of issues. But even on Broadway night lights, when I went, they couldn't or didn't light them all up. I have I have a picture on my phone from downtown from a while ago, and it's like an arcade, and the sign is like full color, but I've never run into the building, probably because the sign is gone. We had sausage sandwiches the other night, actually. Italian sausage. What I really want though, and they're kind of impossible to get, is called a Käse Krainer, and it's something that I used to get when I lived in Vienna all the time. It's like they sell it on the street. So the guy in the booth or whatever, the little sausage shack. I, I really just feel like they should relight the whole street. And so the sausage was like a sausage, almost like a Hillshire Farm sausage, but it had cheese inside of it, Käse. And they would drill out the hoagie roll or whatever it was, and then slip the Käse Krainer in there, and then you would just squirt mustard in, and it was perfect. Yep, it's one of my favorite things to eat. I had so many like cheese explosions on sweaters from biting into the Käse Krainer too hot. I only ate Wiener Schnitzel once though, which is all right, you know. It's just a piece of fried chicken or pork rather. It actually was really good. The thing I didn't like about it is you smelled like cooking oil afterwards. Mediterranean food is the way to go. when we're not eating shit, we usually eat pretty healthy. It's weird how many like shells are here and in Hollywood. Like in Hollywood, you have the Pacific Theater that's literally water damaged and some structural damage from when they built the subway. The same with the National Bank building that's on the corner of Hollywood and Highland, and they're just too cool or historical to tear down or repair. We had kebabs on Christmas. I'm kind of making me hungry now too, and I did just eat some crusty bread, chickpeas, cucumbers, and whatever else was in that salad. I love spinach so much. One of my favorite quick go-to meals is whole wheat couscous from Trader Joe's with spinach, feta, or parmigiano, and then a sliced chicken breast, or sauteed vegetables like eggplant, or you could add steamed broccoli. I love couscous. But like the little tiny couscous. The Israeli couscous I like also, but reminds me of tapioca. I don't think I know menemen. I can't even say it. Menemen. I know Menin, which was a deodorant company. Donut Man. Couscous is really easy also. I wonder if it's so crazy down here because protests. I see some people with signs. Oh, chocolate strawberries. I'm not a fan. Oh my god, it smells so good. All I can smell is it smells like I almost swore, but it smells like fried chicken. Like I haven't had enough fried chicken. Hey James, it is a beautiful day. It's like 65, nice little breeze down here. I don't know why I did that noise. Traffic isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. We can cross now. Hey, LA Unknown. Happy Thursday. So I need to get my knives sharpened, and I really want to bring them to the knife sharpener down the street here that's been open since 1935. But do you think I can bring kitchen knives on the train, or do you think, like, if for some reason my backpack got opened, I would be in trouble? Oh, I really don't love that song. I don't know why. I just want to see some art. So they must be open for the show tonight. Let's see if we can see some art. I'll ask. They could say no. Can we see some art?
Of course.
Awesome. Are you guys going to be open during the art show tonight?
We are.
They're going to be open. All right. We'll just take a look around real
Yeah.
quick. Thank you so much. So tonight is the art walk. Starts at 6 o'clock, I think. But you could double check that. And this is one of the galleries that's open. It's called Gabba. I don't know how far we can go in this building because, the signal, but this is some incredible stuff, actually. I don't know why I'm saying actually. Those are great. The flowers. They're kind of they're balloons. That piece says a lot, actually. I love it. I'll get the name of the gallery on the way out. Like, this is cool stuff. Oh no. This is my favorite. Professor Cootie's Traveling Flea Circus. Also, I love this kitty. There's our good friend. Oh, so guys, if you're out and about tonight, this is really awesome stuff. And so there are a bunch of galleries open down here. I love the Capitol Records one. It had the sheet music to Dream Lover on the top of it. It should have been a Nat King Cole song. Check that out. Remember the duck phone? I love collage. And there's this lady that does these paper cuts of like antebellum scenes that are pretty gruesome but horribly wonderful. This is three-dimensional. Uh, Interactive, but I'm not going to pull the crank. I I love the fact that also somebody has done something with these boxes. I wish they would take all the boxes that are left over, the newspaper boxes that nobody's collected, and do something really cool like this. It's just amazing. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much. I'm stoked. That's psyched and stoked. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, you got the other doors from.
Oh, perfect. The one that says exit on it. All right, awesome.
You're not the only.
I like a challenge. Thank you so much. So this gallery is called Gabba Gallery. We walk by it sometimes. I'm really psyched that we got to go in it. Now that is going to be open, and you could see those in person if you're in town for the Dtla art night. If that seemed interesting to you, I would be really down to go to this. Um, like the next month on a Thursday. Yep, I have to go through the alarmed exit door. I never would have even tried going in there before live streaming, especially because they had the station mom was closed or whatever you call those things. That's how I've grown this past year. A little braver. So here's our lovely LA Times building, which has it would have to start later, of course, but you guys could eat, get in your PJs. So this paper, I'm pretty sure we won't be hearing much from for much longer. I think they lost $50 million this last year. Kind of sad, I think. So the last time I saw that somebody stream it, it was solo casting. That's I think I read about it, and then he did it, and then I read about it again for this May, and I wish, or for May 1st, and I wish I had planned my stream better. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Giuseppe. Thanks so much. I would show fireworks, but I don't know where they are anymore. No doubt we will get some Turkish food. All right, we're coming up on City Hall. Um, let's see. I wish I wish I could find my firework thing. All I can find are the types of things that you would put on top of like somebody's face, like bunny ears or sparkle flowers. I don't even know what that is. All right, we are almost to City Hall. I'm really ashamed that I have no fireworks. Here, we'll use this. Yay! Woo! That's my May Day symbol. Because I don't have any fireworks. Did you see it? I hope you saw it. I think she's done. Poor Katy Perry. I've never been a fan, but it's kind of crazy how we all, as a society, decide that we're going to dump on somebody and not stop. Like I wouldn't, but also like going up in space for 11 minutes is kind of stupid. But that's their prerogative. There's nobody protesting down here. Well, I take that back. So what time do we have here? Let me just check. 2:26. They're going to be in MacArthur Park at 4:30, I believe. So, sad little newspaper, unfortunately.
What's a city art?
We're going to go walk down that direction. I don't think we need to go to City Hall for anything. Let's see if anything is setting up in MacArthur Park, because that's where I got on the train. Not in MacArthur Park, but at 7th and Fig. So let's walk up Wilshire. No, LA Times is not in this building anymore, but I heard a story on the radio or news last night. They lost like $50 million last year. I know that newspapers are, passe, but they're really important. And the guy that took it over kind of changed the direction. I think they didn't do any editorials anymore, and I think they're circling the drain, shall we say. Well, it's kind of like the Washington Post, you know? They decided not to choose a candidate. They always choose a candidate. They decided to do some weird stuff with editorials, and their readership went down. Like, you need to be, as a newspaper or a news source, you need to be unbiased. There's some crazy stuff happening, of course, right? But if you're listening only to a person that is for this crazy stuff and can explain it, then you're going to believe that. I don't know. Like, news should be unbiased. That's all I'm going to say. I know we're not really going to be a political channel. They should have taken the Washington Post up with Katy Perry. Sorry. I really do feel bad for her. She's laughing all the way to the bank, though. She's on tour, and I'm walking the streets. She won.
That's like really more true about this, right?
So I've never back to Katy Perry. So I've never been a fan because I don't really like that kind of music per se. I can't say I've never had a song of her stuck in my head, but I felt like the song Roar, okay, was supposed to be like an anthem. I had never heard a more dull, plodding song than that song. It sounded like a commercial, not an anthem. Roar. Yeah, LA Times did. And they're paid for it. I feel like a lot of media is bending at the knee right now. CBS, because they want to buy Paramount or vice versa. I forget who's buying who, and they don't want to upset the Prezi. I'm not going to trip on these. I'm not going to trip on these. And I didn't. So we're gonna go to 7th before we turn and go up Wilshire. Actually, we might not stay on the street all the way because boring block. Let's go back here. It used to be like a paper that you could be proud of. I'm just plugging in, that hence the jiggling. There we go. No, there's still a lot of billboards. There are just not very many billboards downtown. They're all lawyer billboards, though, or insurance. We don't have billboards like in the 40s on Wilshire Boulevard, though. That's another really fun video to watch, is somebody driving down Wilshire Boulevard in the 40s, like live streaming. They're not really, but you can sometimes see the reflection of the camera that they're using, and then just sort of people surprised to see someone filming down the street like that. Also, I don't want to cross the street here. Look at that great car. Also, like somebody has videos where they go back to 1905 and they filmed like New York City or Paris, and people always seem so surprised when they see the camera. It's like lots of lawyer billboards and lots of insurance. They kind of go hand in hand. And then when I first moved here, we had Angeline billboards. Angeline is kind of legendary. Hey, welcome. Welcome, Steiny. Sorry, it takes me a second to read because my glasses are smudgy. And it's very bright. Oh, thanks, Javier. Okay. Sing along. Name this song. Name the song if you can hear it. Anybody? You do. It took me a couple minutes. It's not a very well-known song, but it's definitely on a greatest hits album. And it's the last song I probably would expect somebody to be playing on the street. Check out The Bride. This is pretty crazy. New Zealand seems like an ideal country. No smoking. Somewhere I've always wanted to go to. Although Americans were not really very popular right now. It was an ABBA song. I Have a Dream by ABBA. That's what he's playing. Is that on the Mamma Mia? I don't know anything really about Mamma Mia. I just know ABBA. I was kind of disappointed that Mamma Mia usurped ABBA in a way. But I know that from like ABBA's Greatest Hits album or 8-track or whatever we had. I don't think my parents were too into ABBA. No, just walking around downtown, our beautiful city, enjoying it, showing people around the world that we're not a shithole. Or, you know, not showing them.
Used to be a lot more people, but since
Right.
that, Trump got in this.
Yeah, right?
But it's not too many problems, though.
All right. We take care of ourselves, or we try.
Yeah.
Have a good day, you too. Fernando kind of makes me cry. Not cry, but like it brings a tear to my eye. I think it's the horns. When I listen to some so Mamma Mia, let's talk about the song Mamma Mia. That is not a liberated person. She's been cheated so many times, and she still hopes that things can work out. Dancing Queen, she's 17. This is problematic in 2025. How about Does Your Mother Know that you're out? Problematic in 2025. My favorite ABBA song is called, it's definitely a deep cut. Actually, it's a deep cut, but the very end, the outro of it was sampled on TikTok a lot. I think it's about a lonely man working in the railway station looking for love in the, the help wanted ads, not the help wanted ads, but the love ads. And he meets two women. It's called Two for the Price of One. It probably really isn't a deep cut, but I feel like it is. Also, maybe that was a risky song. Thruples really weren't big in '78 that we know of. I've seen Grease. I've seen Into the Woods. I've seen a bunch of plays that I cannot remember the name of. Um, I've also seen Romeo and Juliet. Hey, Allie, how's it going? We're downtown, soaking up the 65 degrees, looking for some May Day action. Who did Into the Woods? Because I've seen another of that playwright's plays also, and Into the Woods is great. I can't believe I forgot the name though. Sorry. Everybody saw Romeo and Juliet, I'm sure. Well, if you were alive in the 20th century, or going to school in the 20th century, I took a class on modern English literature and we did Shakespeare, among others. Hey, Nomad, if I didn't say hi to you already, I apologize. Steven, what is his name? Who's the guy that did that play? Like, who's that playwright? I totally forgot his name. Hey, Enzo. Happy Thursday. Here's Clifton's cafeteria. This place might be a fun live stream. It's like a Stephen Sondheim, thanks, fairy tale kind of theme. And so you already kind of, I think that's another reason why I kind of liked it, because you're already familiar with it somewhat. I saw Hedwig and the Angry Inch also. I forgot that. Grease. Into the Woods. I saw a ton of non-musical plays, which almost would be my preference. So now we're at 7th, so I'm going over to 7th and Fig, and we'll wiggle our way towards MacArthur Park. Hedwig was definitely entertaining. Hey, DC. We are all set with them here, personally. But where's Danny if that's Grease Lightning? Oh, here we are again. I almost just fell. We just keep coming back to this. We're trying to get to 1 Wilshire, which is on the other side. And then we'll know we're at the beginning of Wilshire Park. Wilshire Boulevard, really. So,
God bless you. You too. Really nasty cat bite. And I gave you that one. I used your bowl.
look familiar? We were just here. In search of. I see a police helicopter over there. I think the Kennedy Center thing is very gross. It really reminds me of like a totalitarian dictator. Emphasis on the dick.
Michael Jackson go to sleep every night? What did you do so bad, MJ? Well, I swear to God, I heard the whole thing about his girlfriend.
It is pretty busy down here. A gentleman stopped and talked to me, and he said it's a lot less busier than it used to be before. I'm assuming the before was COVID. But it's bustling. People are taking a break from protesting. They're walking around down here. I've seen not a bunch, but maybe like 40 people scattered about with signs. I usually set up when I get off at this stop at the base of this building over here, but it's all barricaded off. So I figured I would set up across the street on the stairs, but I was kicked off. Clifton's is like a cafeteria. I went there once. I think they upscaled it and maybe hipsterified it. So it's got macaroni and cheese balls with truffle oil or something. But when I went there, it was like a cafeteria with multiple levels, and it was kind of like you were going into a forest. It is pretty well known, like for Angelinos. I was brought here by somebody who had gone here when they were a kid, or there when they were a kid. Look it up online. It's pretty interesting. In Boston, there used to be, at the Prudential Center, this restaurant called Marché, or M-A-R-C-H-E, March, with an E. And it was like, you'd enter the restaurant, they would give you a passport, and then you would just walk around to different counters, and you would go to Little Italy, and you would get pizza, and you would go to Switzerland, and you would get rosti. But you would travel the world and try all these different cuisines, and at the end you'd present your passport, and they would charge you based on the stamps. I feel like Clifton's, although not as modern, and maybe not international, was kind of like that. But I don't think Clifton's was as international though. Like the Marché was kind of international Europe. Clifton's was like Americana, fancy, just interesting place. I don't know if the Marché is open anymore, but they also had a little one, sorry. They had a little tiny version of it, and I used to go there for lunch. They had the best French fries. Literally French ones. Imported from France. They would be really expensive now with all the tariffs. I'm going to be eating American fries. I'm joking. I'm sure the fries were still from Idaho. But they were so good. Cooked in tallow or using lard just adds a lot of flavor. I never do either myself. I've used duck fat though. But it really adds. Just gross to think about. I'm mostly going to eat vegetables for the rest of the week. I think I've had so much chicken. And then I keep hearing a report about men who eat chicken more than 5 times a week, which is me. A man that eats chicken. Seed oils are the worst. I've been avoiding them for a while. I remember there was a dietitian and she had a list of the 5 deadly or unalively, I'm kidding, oils you should avoid, and seed oils were on the top of that list. So I've been kind of staying away from those. My favorite oils to use, olive oil of course, avocado oil or walnut oil, I really love too. We eat a lot of chicken too, like 5 or 6 nights a week. This is the first week that we haven't. I like to put olive oil on my cuticles sometimes. Although, if you watch the fried chicken video from yesterday, it looks like I crawled out of a grave. I could have used a little olive oil. I wouldn't put olive oil in your hair though. I know that some people do, but like I have fine, wiry, curly hair, and if I put olive oil in it, terrible. I put it on my skin. The best like facial, homemade remedy facial I've ever given myself, too expensive to do nowadays, but take an egg white, wash your face, beat an egg white and put the foam on your face, and then just wash it off with a warm paper towel. I swear, your face tightens up, your skin feels really good. I think the maggots just need to wake up a little bit. So I think the next protest is at 4:30 in MacArthur Park. So we are going to walk up towards MacArthur Park and check it out, see if anything's starting there. The thing is, the news is depressing and you avoid it and you don't know what's happening. Like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So there's a guy sitting on the steps that I got yelled at for sitting on earlier. I almost want to be like, you told me no sitting on these steps. I wish that Amazon did actually put the amount of money that the tariffs were going to add to their prices. Sorry, I just read a sign that was kind of a little crazy. No sitting on the stairs. I almost just want to sit on the stairs over here. No sitting on the stairs. I thought you said no sitting on the stairs. No sitting on the stairs. Look at that. No leaning on the pot. That was lovely to see. Sorry. They kicked me off the stairs earlier. I guess that guy has a cane. So apparently, just I can't sit on the stairs. But I'm gonna get over it. Like the guy that kicked me out of the pizza place that one time, or the pizza mall. I really like to be positive mostly. I just felt like being a little bitch for a second. I didn't have the camera when I was sitting on the stairs before. I was actually just sitting there to unpack it and set it up. So this is the foot, the end of Wilshire. We're gonna walk towards MacArthur Park. Whatever, it was all in good fun, and I was smiling at him, and I was smiling with him earlier when he told me I couldn't sit there for 1 second. I still felt like I was a little bitch for going back and saying, I thought you told me, whatever. He was doing his job. Oof, we're about to walk over the freeway I hate driving on the most, which is the 110. I'm gonna wish you, it smells so good. I don't know what that smell is. The location of the cut trees is up Broadway by like where the Disney Center is, or Disney Center is, yeah. So where the city, I have not seen them, and they've taken care of removing them pretty quickly. I haven't seen the cut trees, but that's heartbreaking actually. Maybe there are other things that are more heartbreaking, but it's pretty cracked out. Why would you cut down a bunch of trees? Oh, thank you. I try not to be petty most of the time, you know? I try to think good thoughts about people and send them good thoughts. Here's your traffic report. Let me go down. So this doesn't really look that bad. But the other side is a standstill. So they're only moving till they hit this bridge. Anything but free. So this freeway scares me because it converges, it verges and merges. It merges in this really weird way that the 101 is over there. So to enter the 110, which I think this freeway is, you enter the freeway almost in the center lane. And then if you're going on the or all the way on the left lane, and then you've got to like quickly, I usually just close my eyes and white knuckle it. I'm surprised I'm alive. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's making my forehead sweat. It's gonna stain my Walking in LA hat available in the merchandise shop. I've washed my Walking in LA hat twice because I've sweated out the band. This is totally looks like that would be me. I have a hard time making that merge. I do love driving down Wilshire. And we're gonna run. Yes, Route 1 that goes to Lynn, or through Lynn, the city of sin. You never go out the way you went in, for sure. For me, the worst driving experience was always Storrow Drive. I lived in Jamaica Plain and I worked in Wakefield, so I would have to take the whole Storrow Drive route. Almost. The thing though, I almost prefer like 495 and 95, like the 2 lanes on either side freeway to the 4 lanes on either side freeway. I never want to drive in the fast lane, but I do. And then I can't drive in the turnout lane either, or the slow lane. So this is world famous Wilshire Boulevard. You know what also scares me too, especially on a foggy night, is the, and I don't even know if it exists anymore, but you know, the Tobin Bridge to Charlestown. I don't even say my name like Charlestown. I remember one night going over that bridge. It was a super, super foggy night. I hate heights, as you all know. That bridge seems to just go up into the fog, and then the toll collector reaches his hand out, and it was a hook. I just drove through the toll booth, screaming. Why the hell they have a toll booth at the top of that bridge, or on that bridge, I don't know. Might not be at the top, my memory could be faulty. Thing is, I don't know if it was like a prank, because if I was a bored toll booth collector, I used to think I wanted to be a toll booth collector. If I was a bored toll booth collector, I would come up with all sorts of crazy things to do on a foggy night. It was probably Blackbeard, the toll collector. So we go to a lot of lovely, lovely, lovely areas of Los Angeles. MacArthur Park is... It wasn't April Fool's Day. The last April Fool's Day I was in Boston was the April Fool's Day that it like snowed like 2 feet in the night. It was the best April Fool's Day ever. Cedars-Sinai Hospital is probably 4 miles ahead of us, and then to the right. It's a little closer to West Hollywood. That's why if you watch Hacks, that's probably where she went when she did poppers. Hey, they gave her poppers in that episode. Which, why would you do that to somebody? Hacks is hilarious. I remember one time I rode the bus from West Hollywood to East Hollywood, and there was a girl or guy on the bus doing poppers. It's closer to WeHo. It might actually be in West Hollywood or Beverly Hills. Like Beverly Hills and West Hollywood kind of mingle a little bit. I, from time to time, will watch a season of RuPaul's Drag Race. My favorite drag person was Jinx. Because she did Little Edie. And I just love Grey Gardens. Which is a great movie if you've not seen the original Grey Gardens. I'm not talking about the prequel, the Drew Barrymore prequel, which may or may not have been good, I don't recall, but well, thank you. So I tend to watch RuPaul's Drag Race when there's a whole season of it available, and then I OD on it, and then I don't watch it for a little bit. So we are due for catching up with it. But we have so many good TV shows right now. We're watching The Last of Us, of course. Hacks, yes, the Jackie Kennedy cousins. We are watching The Studio, I think that's the name of that movie, or TV show with Seth Rogen, which I really, really love. Those three shows. We're waiting for Netflix, so we're gonna watch Black Mirror. But back to Grey Gardens. Yeah, May is kind of whatever. Especially in LA, it seems kind of like April and June. But I guess May Day is for the workers and the pagans. So, well, we're celebrating it. What is your favorite month? I think mine is October. I like October because I like the run into Halloween, even though I'm not a Halloween adult. I like childhood memories of Halloween, and we go to a Halloween something. And then you also kind of start to feel, unfortunately or fortunately, the long hand of Christmas in the department stores. August. I have spoken to a witch in Salem. I've been to Salem, Massachusetts many, many times. In fact, one of my earliest scary memories is Salem, Massachusetts. I think I must have been 4 or 5 when we went to the Salem Witch Museum. And the moment the pentagram on the floor lit up and it got dark, the pentagram lights up, I had to be taken out of it. I revisited it in my teenage years, though, and it wasn't quite as scary. So I also knew people that practiced witchcraft growing up. We had a witchcraft kit in our house because I grew up in New England, and maybe that's the way. But I love Old Salem. I also love Plymouth Plantation and Sturbridge Village and Strawberry Bank. Any old-timey stuff when I was a kid I wanted to go to. And the crazy thing about, I don't know what that is. The Salem is really like, it really happened in Beverly Farms, right? So Salem, where Salem is, isn't where Salem was. I feel like we also watched movies about the Salem witch trials in school growing up, because it was kind of an important part of our New England history. I do live in Los Angeles now, My only witchcraft that I practice now is the power of positive thinking. Building on the left? Sorry. It's probably a high school. And I have a sigil. I made a sigil. I would say dabble. I don't dabble in the occult really, but like I would say I'm open to magic and good stuff. So it's definitely a school. I'm guessing BD you're talking. Oh, it's a Liberty or sorry, Leichty Middle School. August, it feels like it was a month you dreaded when you were on summer vacation when you were a kid. You know, it meant that like as soon as this was over, you were back to school. I miss the South Bay. I've got a... Okay, there we go. I happen to like shitty Hollywood, I have to say. Whether it be the hills, like Whitley Heights, or Little Armenia, or regular little Hollywood there, or Thai Town. Oh, God. Sorry. I hope you didn't see what I saw. I really love that area because the fact that I can walk to so many places is lovely. Like, I was really reared on the East Coast, so moving here, my mentality was I'm probably not going to need a car. But if you work 11 miles away, you need a car. I like areas that I would like. I really would love to live in Whitley Heights. Actually, that's my newest thing. If I could live somewhere, I would live in Whitley Heights, or Venice, perhaps. But the areas I like being in, I do like the sketchier areas, the areas where you get more of the tapestry of different kinds of people. They have really nice lamps here. Oh, actually, they do have really nice lamps here. You might have been taught. These are nicer than the one in Whitley Heights. And in fact, I think that those lamps aren't on Santa Monica on that little display. So I have no idea what lamp number that is. Lamp number 72559. There's a little look at what little underdeveloped area. So I wouldn't say I like totally sketchy areas, but I like a taste of sketch. We don't usually come down here very often, although I've walked through a few times. I am going to miss every street light. So, in a sense, it is, but everything is kind of together. So, in Boston, when I lived in the South End, it would be like a block that had Section 8 housing, or whatever that was called in Boston. I don't know if it was called Section 8 public housing. There would be like a complex with like condos, public housing, and then there'd be I guess a couple $1 million brownstone next door that one person lived in, garden to top. And then the next brownstone would have 3 people living in it. And then there'd be Section 8 housing. So I didn't find it to be very segregated in terms of just like all the rich people living in one area. Of course, there are pockets and cities and neighborhoods, for sure. I also found that people were a little more provincial of thought in Boston than I had expected them to be growing up in New Hampshire. I thought it would be a more cosmopolitan, liberal sort of approach, and I would run into people with very provincial sort of thoughts. I'm not going to elaborate on that, just in case you have those provincial thoughts, because we're all friends here. But I love Massachusetts the same way I love California, and that it's kind of a people-first state. Like, I'm proud to live in Massachusetts. I'm definitely proud to live in California. Yeah, literally like right across, Whitley Heights is right across from the Hollywood Bowl and just behind Hollywood and Highland. I lived in the neighborhood directly behind Hollywood and Highland for a little bit, and it was kind of heaven. I think we walked up the street and then we started losing the signal, and I was showing you the street that I lived on. It's called Pinehurst. It's a dead-end street. So it kind of had the same vibe as Whitley Heights, but the houses weren't as cool. But I think the building I lived in was definitely from the 20s. It had an outdoor ice bin for the iceman to put the ice in the ice box. All right. That's why I like the neighborhood that I live in also, because I can just walk to stuff. Again, I started talking about living in Boston. When I lived in Boston, I just walked everywhere. I would park my car and not move it, because the last thing I wanted to do was spend 4 hours driving around looking for a parking spot. So I just kind of didn't have a need for a car there either. And I thought it would be the same thing in LA. And actually, at this point in my life, I am at that point where I don't need a car. But I enjoy having one when I do. Like last night. I know that you can absolutely, positively take the train to Boyle Heights, but we would have never seen the 6th Street Bridge. Hollywood Heights is across the street. We've also gone to Hollywood Heights. It's the neighborhood where there's a tower with an elevator in it, and all of the houses you can only get to by a staircase. So that is just below the Hollywood Bowl and directly across the street from Whitley Heights. The neighborhood we were in the week before that, Hills, I think that's Beechwood Canyon area, but I might mistakenly refer to it as Franklin Heights. And I know that when I made the members only video, I accidentally called Whitley Montecito Heights. I tried to go back through and erase Montecito Heights, especially in the end. I said it like twice because I was looking, or we just walked by the Montecito building. Do I really have to hit this button to cross? I'm gonna try it. I don't know, what's the worst that could happen? I could get hit by a car. I guess that's the worst that could happen. So there's MacArthur Park, waiting in the dark. Sweet green icing flowing. LA is not a walking city, but I make it a walking city. I think that's just an excuse. It can be a walking city. We just walked practically from City Hall to MacArthur Park. I don't know how many miles that is because I don't have my watch on. Looks like they're getting ready for the protest up here. So, that's Wilshire Park to our left. She's not looking her best right now. So we're on 6th Street, which runs parallel to Wilshire. It's just above Wilshire for a lot of the stretch. It doesn't look like any protest is happening here. This is just construction. This was, at one time, a really lovely area. Before my time, for sure. There's like a 1930s boathouse in Wilshire Park. There is the Townhouse Hotel, which we will see. There's these great giant apartment buildings lined up down this street. Hotel Barbizon. I should have shown you this view. Hey, Kleber. It seems like whenever we talk about hotels in Los Angeles, old hotels, we're always like, this one was built for the ultra elite and blah, 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 blah. And then 4 years later, it was closed because they built another new hotel for the ultra elite and wealthy. I really want to kind of poke my head into MacArthur Park. Now you can see MacArthur Park. Actually, Wilshire divides it. There's a beautiful lake over there, and that's Wilshire. 6th Street Sorry, guys. 6th Street, the other end of 6th Street by West Hollywood, is a beautiful street to drive down. It is literally like 30s and 20s, vintage apartment buildings. Everything looks like you're on a movie set except for the cars. It's a pretty uninteresting area to drive, but it's might be worth a couple block walk for a members video. I think you would love that area. I would love to live in that area also. It's right near the farmers market. Right near the farmers market and the Grove. So this is the back of the 1930s boathouse. It's weird that the boathouse is on this side and the lake is on the other side. Yeah. So, a boathouse with no boats. There's a pretty great children's play area, and there you can see, let me see if I can get up high enough. Beautiful fountain across the street. I don't live close enough to Echo Park to go and chill out there, but I have in the past. All right, up here is Parkview. We're gonna take a left and go back to Wilshire. We'll take a look at this memorial, see what it's about, or maybe we will look at this is the Mexican Consul General. The monument is for Hungary. I remember very early on when making these live streams, I think it was in January, there was a really lovely lady. It is not amazing kitty cats on the roam, but a lady who mentioned that she adopted cats and had 13 house cats. And she actually, there we go. And hi again. I think we just lost our gimbal. Hang tight. A little face shot. We didn't lose the gimbal, but we do need to plug it in, so hang tight. I'm gonna see if I can arrange that. I wholeheartedly agree about it being a little scary at night down here. I can't believe I didn't even get a beep telling me my battery was dying. Alright, so no signal, we got you plugged in. Let me show you this really cool building. And then well, we'll walk to Wilshire. I'm actually going to hold my gimbal steady for a few while it charges. Let me make sure everything's plugged in. I hate to leave ya. I don't know what this building is, but oh, they have like a concert thing here, although Never heard of concerts down here. Bear with. That's really odd. Alright, my one battery charger isn't coming on. I'm hoping that does the trick. Huh? I'm talking to myself. Alright, we'll hold it for a few seconds and give it a minute to charge. I wonder what caused the battery to die so quickly. I shouldn't say die. Oh my god, please like and subscribe. I would press that button. I think we've got a gimbal. Alright, we're back. Mostly. There we go. Alright, we are back now. Although it wants to do some weird stuff. Okay, what are you telling me? Now it's telling me it's not balanced. Bear with. Okay. Okay. But what I'm doing is I'm literally holding the gimbal to my chest to make it do that. And it's jittery. I mean, now it's fine, I think. Although it's telling me, it's beeping at me. Hold, please. I just don't like it when it beeps because it then shuts off. Oh, the fun of being live. I know, the building looks like the Hall of Justice or something. Hi, again. Sorry. Bup, 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 bup. Funky. Alright, I'm gonna hold it for a little bit more. Let it get its charge. Yeah, it's been doing some weird things. I thankfully have purchased the warranty for it because if it shows my face one more time. So the M-balance is still wrong. It says that it's going to pan left. Pardon me, so pan left, pan right. I am Caucasian, yeah. But it is an odd question. Oh my goodness! So we're gonna just hold this gimbal for a little bit while longer and let it do some charge. Okay. Did we lock something? Alright. I think we're good now. I know why it was not balancing before, because I had something locked. So, we're gonna just look back at the beautiful park and city and continue our way. No, it set off balance because when I was trying to hold it, I accidentally locked one of the gears or twisty things. I don't know what you call it. It is we're really on the wrong side for the view. Like the other side is just, you can see the full downtown. I think I just have to return this one and get a new one, because I now think maybe the battery isn't charging all the way, because it's supposed to have like 6 hours. We've been live streaming for just 2 hours. So this is a theater. Just La Fonda. Beautiful, amazing. It's all set now. It was off balance because I had one of the gears were locked and it couldn't balance itself out. But I fixed it. And it's charging. I think we're good. Right? That's the Hayworth. A neuro-inclusive celebration of Hollywood. Lights, camera, cabaret. Do you think it's like a quiet, inclusive celebration? We're going to go to the county fair this month for a live stream also, by the way. We just have to pick the day. We went to the county fair last year, and the day we went was Neurodivergency Day. So not only were we not getting like the nighttime carnival vibe, but everything was quiet. There weren't any carnival noises or playing songs on the Tilt-A-Whirl, which we didn't ride because Joseph doesn't like to spin around. But we did ride the gondola. The Royal Wilshire. I love driving on Wilshire because of the twists and turns that it makes, and how you can kind of see the buildings coming around and they're a surprise. So here's another empty building, the townhouse. Here's a dog without a leash, which is my pet peeve, pun intended. I just get nervous about dogs off leashes. There's some really nice early 20th century apartment buildings. Yeah. The protest starts at 4:30. I think I'm unfortunately going to miss out on any protest because it's 3:40 right now. I probably have a good hour left to get home. So every other time there's a protest downtown, somewhere on the route that we were just on will run into it. But for some reason, they had stuff scheduled for 9 or 10 this morning, and then also for 4:30. Like, so maybe you could do it before work or after work. This is one of my favorite buildings right to our right. So it's got like a little extra part built on. But it's the Bryson. We'll look back at it when we get a little further. This way we can see the sign. The protest starts at the park behind us at 4:30. And look at that church. I feel like that's been in a movie or something. The Bryson was in a movie with Angelica Houston and John Cusack, the Grifters. I think they lived there. I love the sign. It says Bryson, not Bryon. The almost okay thing about me not being too close to the protest is I always lose my signal in a crowd. So then I have to skirt around the protest. So this is Lafayette Park. Just a little bit above Wilshire Park. MacArthur Park. There's the townhouse. This has got some history too. It has never been open in the 20 years that I've lived here. It was a cream of the crop hotel, I'm sure, built for the wealthy and elite that probably went to ruin 4 or 5 years later, or when the Great Depression hit. That Great Depression really messed up a lot of stuff. There's tons of sidewalk cyclists. I just learned to live with them. It is a pretty cute park, considering how close it is to a beautiful park that's sort of derelict. I think this park is totally closed though. There's downtown LA. So that big, hulking, towering building on the left is Bullock's Wilshire. I would love to go back in time to when that was a department store and just hang out there for the afternoon. I have this book called Los Angeles. It's a Taschen book. And they had like fashion shows, bikini shows, like all different stuff. Like going to the department store was kind of an event. This is probably a part of Wilshire that you wouldn't drive to. So there are a bunch of cool pictures of this building when it was in its heyday, and it had like a place called the Zebra Bar and another cafe. But it just kind of sits here. Ring my bell. No ghosts. Actually, maybe are they using it for something now? No. Where's the cafe though? It's definitely been upgraded because it's got a handicapped ramp. So maybe they're turning this into, and the handicapped ramp is probably 30 years old though. Maybe they're turning this, or they were gonna turn this into public housing. Or maybe they have, there's somebody sitting over there. All right, what a nosy Gladys Kravitz I am. Anyway, I love this building. Ooh, dark. it's weird because the building is now a law school, and they have, you can see pictures of it online, and they kept it looking a little department store-y somehow. I can't exactly remember, but like as you kind of look down, you can see these buildings, little Frenchy looking buildings, are probably beautiful. This was probably like a really beautiful, well-shopped block in the olden days. Oh, let's see if I can make it. It's also kind of cool because they still have the crosswalk, as if people were going to go shopping. And it's crazy because further up Wilshire in Beverly Hills, there's like the Saks Fifth Avenue that looks like this era of department stores. Which I think the Saks Fifth Avenue, they're closing those. I always kind of loved Saks. This is Bullock's Wilshire. It's the Southwestern Law School building. Much nicer than the Macy's of today. There was somebody on the chat. Oh, I start telling stories and then somebody says something and I forget. Somebody once told me that I would run out of places to walk in LA. A person with a bunch of cats, a lovely lady. She gave me a super chat or a super thanks. But she mentioned that I would run out of places to go. I haven't. I probably won't. You may say the last thing we need is another department store. I would say the last thing we need is another lawyer. Just kidding. We do need lawyers. Whoa, coming at ya. Let's look at the, even the brackets that hold the soffit, like the details are insane. So who knows why they didn't tear it down, but they didn't tear it down, and I love the fact that we have this remnant of a department store that I never shopped at. There they would probably have a poster of the new Lancome lipstick. I'm wearing corduroys today. That wasn't a smart choice, by the way. I felt like it was going to be cold enough for corduroys. What's this? It's a little cordoned off neighborhood. Should we walk down this street? I never go this way. Seems to be a really cool church over there. Looks busy. Well, you know who's in the details. The devil. I love the details. I love all the, not the right word, but filigree or the bespoke sort of corniches. But I also love plain too. I love a plain building. Not every plain building though. Every time I see that, I think it says Miracle Bank. Here's the Vermont and Wilshire train station. We're going to walk up to the Western train station, and I'm gonna get on the train there. So that's a couple blocks. That should take us right to the Wilshire Theatre, which also just lovely Art Deco details. So we're in Koreatown. Again, Koreatown is huge, the hugest Koreatown in the world. Excuse me. Pardon me. Thank you so much. I think some pollen flew up my nose. We're at Dr. Ki Hwan Ha Square. I just wanted to call that out. I'm not sure what the history is behind that, but it's worthy of a square. I thought I heard that little ding again of Gimbal. Ooh, it looks so like dreamy. For a couple seconds. But yum. I could eat a whole pineapple. I always like to point this out, but that was like Ralph's grocery store over there, that really cool Spanish building. I was kind of blown away when I discovered that. Much nicer than any grocery store today. Yeah, we're getting to the heart of Wilshire. We always check out this church, and then the synagogues are up ahead on the right. Oh, nice little message for us. $1928. This looks older than 1928. That's a delivery. You know, I see a lot of things that I've never seen before on these walks also. So, it's a win-win for me too. And for all the times that we have stopped at this church and kind of really dug into it, I've never been on the ground in front of it ever. I've only ever driven by it. It's gorgeous though. So Gaylord is right up here on the right. You can get a Gaylord t-shirt in the merchandise shop. I don't know what that is, but that looks steampunk to me. I want to take a second to say, hey, if you just joined and you haven't, I would love your support. Please like, sub, chat. No thumbs down, but if you must. And then I also want to take a sec to say we have memberships, and we've got 34 really great members. I want to thank them so much for the support and allowing me to make videos for them on Tuesday. I also want to thank you all for joining and walking with me, seeing new things for you and for me. I have a feeling if you're really wanted to see those protests that we are kind of missing out on, I guarantee perhaps solo casting our West Coast G for life, 2 subscribers on the channel, also do live streaming in LA. I guarantee one of them is downtown, and also the fellow that we just ran into, whose name I cannot remember for the life of me, he's also probably going to be live streaming. So there are a lot of options for you to check out the protest downtown. But we got a couple more blocks before we hit Western. I just wanted to make sure I thanked you guys and the members, and ask for you to like and subscribe. So we'll be live streaming tomorrow. I've got a couple spooky walks lined up, but I'm not really sure which one I want to do yet. So I'll probably go over that when I get home and decide. I will, since that's our live stream all the time, I'll post in the morning for that live stream, so a couple hours ahead of time. I love that sign. It lights up. So this, of course, is where Kennedy, the hotel where Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated. There was a hotel here, which they mostly tore down, but that little building is part of it there, and then they built a high school behind it. Pretty cool. That's the Brown Derby Plaza where the Wilshire Brown Derby was. I point that out all the time, so sorry if you've been here before. When we come around the corner, you'll be able to see the shape of the hat, but in this ugly peach stucco. But the hat's still there. Where's the little peach hump? See that little thing in the corner right there? I don't know if I can point to it really, but that's the Brown Derby hat. And then as far as buildings that are modern, I for some reason love the Equitable building. I don't know, I have not been there, but I really do want to go. And then that's the memorial statue, which probably is a fountain. Oh, Brown Derby is hiding behind that tree. And the blue sky is not hiding. Oh, bistro. That looks like the bistro is no longer open. I also don't see the Big Five sporting goods. I think I read about the food court near Berendo, or I always say that wrong, or I try to make it a different word, Berendo. I sometimes will say Berenado for some reason, but I haven't been there yet. I hear it's more authentically LA than the downtown food hall, is what I like to call it. Because I definitely don't believe that we need to preserve everything, but when we do save something like this amazing church here, historically inaccurate signage kind of wrecks the building. They shouldn't have been allowed to do that. Of course, they bought it, they can do whatever they want with it, but it's such a lovely building, and then it has that weird liquor store sign. Hardly an oasis. I am not walking home, I'm just, although I'm practically there, I am walking to Western and then just hopping on the train. I'm gonna stop at Petco and get pet food. I didn't mean to walk this far or for this long. What had happened was I was looking for the protesters and I just kept going. This is kind of a new, cool street too, little curvy street with some cool old apartment buildings on it. I've eaten at this Carl's Jr. one time. It was when I was not eating bread and I just had a lettuce burger. They looked at me like I was crazy because it was before people just ate lettuce burgers. I do love a good burger wrapped with lettuce though. Carl's Jr.'s was not the burger for me. That Diet Coke looked really good. It had like just enough perspiration on it. I haven't had a Diet Coke in a couple days because we had orange whip last night and horchata. Pioneer Chicken gave me a Pepsi vibe though. So here's an area. Oh, the tofu restaurant over there smells so good. The BCD. I always want to eat there. I think Joe, yeah, I really didn't think I would be gone this long. I was thinking like 90 minutes, hop on the train, but you know, once we get walking and talking, kind of hard to stop. But Joe, yes, I'm on my way home. We're a couple blocks from the train station. And then I'm going to Petco to get pet food. Even though I get a delivery tonight, we're out of pet food this morning. So remember St. Basil's, we've seen this before, or St. Basil, or Basel. The doggies are doing great. They really don't eat that much in the morning for some reason. They get really hungry in the afternoon, so it was okay that they didn't have a giant bowl of food this morning. They're cuddling on the couch. I have to take them out the first thing when I get home though. They act like best buds or overly protective of toys. One is like a dream, the other one is not as much of a dream, but I just love his energy anyway. I do need to give them a bath. That's kind of really super duper important because it's now starting to get warm, and you know when they come out from outside and it's warm out and they kind of bring the warmth back in with them, they always kind of smell a little extra doggy. And also the fur is flying because it's getting warmer, so it's shedding time. Our one of our dogs is like has the fur of an English sheepdog. It's like a miniature English sheepdog, but he's not that miniature. He has full-size paws and stumpy legs. They have a lot of toys, but they really just play with the same toys over and over again. I did do a bark box a couple years ago, but I only did it as if I had one dog, and the toys really piled up. They would go through the snacks like lickety split. And I have to say, if you have a dog or a puppy, that bark box is pretty cool. The toys are brilliant. Some of them are like a rubber creature covered with cloth. And so once they tear like the cloth off, it's like a hard rubber ball that's another surprise in there. And they're really good. I remember I got toys that were either too small or too large one time, and they were like, keep them, we'll send you another box. And then when I quit doing that, of course they still email me. I'm sure it's a computer. So outside we play with the tennis ball, for sure. We have a driveway that our landlord parks in and no one else parks in. It's huge, like 4 cars could park there. So after each walk, we usually play a little bit in the driveway. And we also have a closed-in park, not for dogs, but I think all the neighbors go there, not together. My dogs don't play with other dogs. One of them would be fine. The other one is just a basket case in a way. We do play with the tennis ball in the house too. But the ball they love the most is this golden ball. It's definitely from the bark box, and it might have been with like a Christmas box, but it's like a golden snowball with glitter in it. And they fight over this one ball. If the ball goes under something, they'll cry. Well, the needier one will cry till you get it out. But the bark box is great. I just would limit the amount of toys you have. We have a basket full of toys. A basket full of dog toys. The best part is when you have to do an edit. That guy came really close to me. When you have to do an edit and you throw some out and they know they're in the trash, and all of a sudden they're interested in that bagel dog toy. There's the Wilshire Theater. We are almost to Wilshire and Weston. I'm just flipping the camera because I love the way this building kind of arches and hugs. They could use cooler signs, like PNC Bank is a little obnoxious, and that Chase. I had a bad experience with Chase already today, not allowing me to sit on their steps. I could eat a strawberry donut right now, Steph's. I felt full from Pioneer Chicken till this morning. My one regret about Pioneer Chicken, and I think maybe at some point in the future we can do a revisit, is I really wish I got the fish basket. Because Joseph ate the chicken tenders, the leftover chicken tenders this morning for breakfast. Yeah, the golden ball, you know it. And I was like, the batter was like a wet batter. It would have made really great like fisherman's basket. So here's the Wilshire Theater, beautiful Art Deco theater. We used to go to a place called Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips, and every time we go back to Joe's hometown, he's dying to go to Long John Silver's, and I don't know why we never go. So maybe we'll go to Long John Silver's. Steph, I have to say, I'm regretting not getting the fish. But I'm really happy that I got to go there. Hands down, really great fried chicken. So this is the Red Line metro stop. I probably could have gotten on a train a lot sooner, but I don't like changing trains. This doesn't even go to my house or to anywhere near where I live, so I have no idea why I walked to this train station. I probably should have gone to Vermont. But I probably can take a bus. I'm not gonna cross the street. Hi, we're gonna walk up Western for a little bit. I just did and the bigger bummer for me is that it's probably like 7 miles I've been walking. I didn't set my watch, so I don't know how many miles I walked. But you know, summer's coming. I've been eating a lot of fried stuff lately, so more walking the better. We're almost to 3 hours, so I think it's a half an hour to get to Santa Monica Boulevard from here. I started at 7th and Fig, walked to City Hall. I walked back to 7th and Fig and then walked up Wilshire. We're at Wilshire and Western. Now I'm walking up Western to... Oh, I wish she had a Diet Coke. I'm walking up Wilshire to Santa Monica. I could have... We're definitely getting the fish and chips the next time. I always forget that this particular train station does not have a train that goes to my neighborhood. I live on the Red Line, or next to the Red Line, between the Red Lines. So here's our old familiar strip. We're in Koreatown. We've really gone on a world tour today. I feel like the last time I walked down Wilshire was from Vermont and Wilshire because there was somebody on the tracks, the train tracks, and you had to take a bus the rest of the way downtown, so I just walked. For some reason, I remembered it being a lot further. I am going to cross the street. Hopefully won't have to delete that song. No, I didn't even know there was a Long John Silver's that close. The only one I know about is in, I think, Visalia. We used to have an Arthur Treacher's, which became Long John Silver's. I think it was like the English one. I feel like also there was a video that a guy did where he was going to eat nothing but Long John Silver's for like a week. A YouTube, obviously, video. I just remember their commercial, "You're gonna get your wish, go fish," or their slogan. So, remember when we had the Korean fried chicken? That little spot is around here somewhere. I think it's the next block up or so. Do you have Long John Silver's on the East Coast? I feel like they're kind of like Pioneer Chicken. They're few and far between. Awesome.
All right.
Take care. It's a big muscle. How about that? A little muscle for you. How is the coleslaw at Long John Silver's? I don't really love coleslaw, although I love cabbage. So if the coleslaw is really good, though, I do love it. I'm definitely going to walk by that ice cream place. I wish Joe got off work earlier so he could come and split one with me. I want to try that ice cream place sometime, the one with the pink over there, but it's always has a line. I don't know that I've ever had Popeye's coleslaw. I will usually get something other than coleslaw if it's an option. And then if you stick raisins in that coleslaw, and I love raisins, forget it. It just doesn't belong in there. Coleslaw is already kind of sweet. It doesn't need a raisin. Is the Art Tree a marijuana store? I feel like it is. The only art supply store that I ever go to is that one in, I want to call it Utrecht, but it's not in Utrecht. It's got another name here. On 3rd Street. You know what I would get by myself? I would get a boba milk tea. Although that might be a little too much milk. So I'm really trying to avoid having sweets today because of the crappy food that I've eaten for the past couple weeks. Right? I would want a milk tea, though. I love that. It doesn't look like... I probably will just go to 7-Eleven and get a Diet Coke. I don't know if he was doing that to me. For dinner tonight, we're going to have another salad, another chopped salad. Probably, I made a lot of that bean salad today, so probably that, and maybe I might need a little protein. But it's definitely a home-cooked, healthy dinner tonight. Although I'm really tempted to stop right here. I'll try that, actually. I just like a salad that's really crunchy and not wilty lettuce. Like a crunch salad, like the Kardashians would eat in a giant bowl. I'm kidding. I have no idea what they ate. Just, I knew they ate salads. I used juice of 1 lemon, 5 tablespoons of olive oil, garlic powder instead of real garlic because it's dressing, right? A bit of spicy honey for sweetener, and then Italian herbs, salt, pepper, and then I whisked it. We tend to end up doing that though, Joe. We end up making something and really liking it and then eating it so much that... Remember when we used to eat the same like turkey and tomato sauce with sweet potato dish all the time? And then remember our like pop-up Thanksgiving, which is also ground turkey, sweet potatoes with maybe some stuffing, but usually again Italian seasoning or Thanksgiving seasoning. What? Okay, the Dalai Lama is gone and it looks like a new place has opened up here called Fredo. There's a salad in a book called Plenty, and it's a green couscous salad. And Yotam Ottolenghi is the guy's name, and it's a vegetarian dish. That recipe book, that book of recipes, Plenty, is so good, but that dish, I've made it like 1,000,000 times. So I'm hoping that Fredo is an ice cream shop, but they don't look like they're open yet. I'm sure you can find the recipe online, because I don't think I have the book anymore. And I found it online last. I'll send you the recipe. If you visit, we'll make you a salad bag. I like a lot of dressing on my salad also, which is a kind of weird thing. I like the ability to get a salad to go and I can shake it up with the dressing on it. Like tender greens. I love tender greens bowls. And sweet greens. It's just confusing that they both exist. We had a lot of Caesar salads last week, which I did not make the dressing for. I feel like if you don't ask for extra dressing or extra salsa, you don't get enough. Whenever we get tacos or burritos, they give us one red and one green. And I feel like we should each get a red and green. Or two. upcoming is $9.99 pizza. Then we're gonna see our favorite ice cream shop. I'm bummed because the $9.99 pizza place, it looks like they don't have their outdoor tables, which is part of the fun of eating here. Because the pizza is $9.99. This salad niçoise has tuna on it, right? So I would omit the tuna. I love, what is that? A Waldorf salad. I love Waldorf dressing also. I like a Cobb salad, no eggs. I always give Joseph my egg when we go to Crispy Pork Gang or wherever they just throw an egg on something. I just hand it right over. I really only like soft eggs, like runny, gooey yolk. I usually, when I'm out, more get wraps so I can eat with my hands. I'm a messy salad eater though, also. I found a really great brand of salad dressing. It's refrigerated, and I can't remember, it's from Massachusetts, and they make a really great garlic Caesar dressing, but also this Mediterranean vinaigrette, which is fantastic. It almost tastes like sub oil and vinegar. There's the ice cream shop. I could probably make that papaya salad. Maybe I should explore that. So it's really crazy, but this place, the name has changed since we last walked by it. It used to be called Coin de Rue. And they have some crazy pastries in there. I want to find, there's a lady that does shorts and she's bald and she tries all these pastries. She doesn't tell you the price, but they're insane looking. Like it's a giant raspberry shaped pastry with like a shell and it's full of cream and cake, and I want to find that place because I want to try those. Joseph and I walk really fast actually. The bad thing about always walking fast is I work up a sweat. I'm schwitzing right now. I also have a sweatshirt and corduroys on. I think the trick about pastry though too is like you gotta find some place that just does it to get a really truly good one. Like those grocery store croissants taste like they're made with margarine. And there's a French bakery near my house. It's a restaurant and it's called Paris something, and they couldn't make a croissant to save their life. I wonder, I could have probably taken a bus. I just would have been afraid it would have turned off onto one of these streets. I was kind of tempted to go into Paris Baguette. It wasn't Paris Baguette that I'm talking about. I think it's called the Paris Cafe. Paris Baguette, I think, is Korean owned. And I've eaten a lot from Paris Baguette, and there's another place called 98 Degrees. The pastries are good. It's just not... When I think of like a French pastry, it doesn't taste the same. They're really good though. Hey Mary, happy Thursday. I don't get to say that often. Well, I will be all this month. Thank you so much. All right. I am at about 12% charge. So this means that something will just die at any time. I mean, unalive at any time, and I won't be able to say a proper cheerio. So I'm going to say good night to you here. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll do an early, like 1 o'clock tomorrow. I'm not sure if we're going to do a spooky Hollyweird walk or downtown LA walk, but woo! I'm going to put my feet up. 3 hours. Hey, she clicks bricks. I was watching your Lego versus Fun Hole versus Fantasy, and I can't remember the name of the other one. The other brick making company throw down this morning. I have to say, my favorite, I couldn't find a spot to leave a comment, but maybe I comment too much. My favorite, I think, from all of those collections, I really love the fantasy stuff. It just seems most magical. So, good night, kids. Good night, legends. Thank you so much for the support, for the likes. I'll be back on tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you. Have an awesome, awesome Thursday night. Try to lay low, the weekend's coming. And I'll talk to you really soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Good night, everyone.